So next speaker I would like to invite Ms. Sonica Aron, CEO Marching Sheep. Let me give a small brief about her. Ms. Sonica Aron, an XLRI postgraduate, founded Marching Sheep in 2013, to make a difference in people's lives and drive respect and equality. Marching Sheep is a leading HR consulting firm specializing in diversity and inclusion, employee well-being, learning interventions, and policy streamlining, recognized for its impactful work and thought leadership in progressive HR practices. The topic will be diversity is a fact, inclusion is a choice, equity is a action, belonging is an outcome. So with this, can we have Ms. Sonica Aron, CEO Marching Sheep, over the stage with a huge round of applause, everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. तालियां थोड़ी ठंडी थी. I know it's post lunch. Thank you. Okay. So I know. I think Surendra did a great context setting, and he spoke about great things in DEI. So for the next 20 minutes, I'm going to be your partner in crime. So it's only fair that I introduce myself a little bit more. Like she said, I started my company in 2013. At Marching Sheep, we work with all dimensions of diversity. We work not only on inclusion of women, we work on inclusion of people with disabilities, we work on inclusion of LGBTQ, we work on generational diversity, as well as when we work with our global clients, we work on races and ethnicities. So as we speak, we are working with more than 380 clients across 80 plus countries. What really we have realized is that as we start working with a client, even if we are working on, let's say, inclusion of women, the brief becomes deeper because the dimensions even within women, looking at life stages, looking at ethnicity, all of that tends to get deeper. So that is why the topic, diversity is a fact and inclusion is a choice. Equity takes action and belonging is an outcome. But before we get there, how about having some fun? Are you all up for it? थोड़ा ठंडा हुआ है ना माहौल? Okay. So we will start with a fun quiz. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Promise. Okay? What is the month of May celebrated as? Labor Day तो first में होता है. Mother's Day तो 12th में को था. Sir, that is one day. What is the whole month? Sir, that is June. Sir, वो celebration नहीं होता. हाँ? It may be celebrated. मुझे तो टेंशन हो जाती है सर. Yes, Google क्यों तो नहीं किया ना? Very good. Well done. Mental Health Awareness Month, not just the week. Right? How is mental health related to diversity, equity and inclusion? कोई लेना देना है? Yes, ma'am.
It's mentally what you have to be really ready for to accept these facts. Like in the US, we actually have a law. In case if you don't follow DEI, you get sued for it. In India, you don't have such law. So in India, you don't have any law as such. So if you want to really excel in DEI, it's the mindset. And really to have that mindset, you need to have that mental peace, I guess.
Okay, so that's a unique perspective. But on another note, if people, thank you so much, if people from underrepresented groups are not treated well, do not feel included, it impacts their mental health. All right? Okay. Is mental health covered in insurance, and there is a company that deals in insurance, can they not participate in this, please? Yes? Can somebody give her a mic, please? Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Hello?
Yeah.
So now they have come up with the provision of taking care employees' mental health as well. Now, these companies are recognizing this, that it is very important to people to, for the people management, people engagement and everything. Now they are focusing more on mental health because everyone is, going through personal, professional, everything is going on.
Yes, ma'am.
For the
But
betterment
my
of.
question
Yes.
is mental health
Right.
covered in insurance?
Yes, it is now covered.
It is covered?
No, now
Everybody?
it comes under the modern treatments now. Yes, still it is. Actually, it is still under the IRDAI guidelines. They are implementing,
Okay.
and they have given, yes, they have given the OPD
okay.
policies as well.
Everyone, as of October 2022, thank you, ma'am, thank you so
Welcome.
much. IRDA declared that insurance companies need to cover mental health. It is mandated. There are 6 insurance companies that are as of now extending this. There is of course a lot of fine print, insurance mein hamesha hota hai. So, you need not get admitted, even therapy is covered. But if we don't know, how will we extend it to our employees? How will we ask our service providers who are giving insurance to our employees to extend it? So that's the other one. When is Transgender Day of Remembrance? अरे टेक अ गैस, देयर आर मतलब गैस करने तुक्का मारने में क्या जा रहा है? All right. Okay, so it is 31st March. And along with it, there is a Transgender Day of Visibility. Any thoughts, when is that? 20th November. But we only celebrate LGBTQ celebration, Pride celebration कब होता है? June. बाकी पूरे साल शांति. While the entire month of June is celebrated as Pride Month, when is Pride Day? 22nd June. You are close, very close. 28th June, bingo. That is the day when that pub was attacked, and that is the day the community actually came together for the first time to protest against the atrocities of the law enforcement, whatever, right? Who made first double century in one day international cricket? Do only men play cricket? Sir, Mithali Raj to abhi. There's a lady by the name of Belinda Clark. In the year 1997, she was the first one to make a double century in international cricket World Cup. She was the Australian team captain. So कोई सचिन से भी अच्छा था, you know, and it was a woman. Who is the oldest person to climb Mount Everest? सर आप सो ना प्लीज, बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है. Yuichiro Muiro, a Japanese citizen, he first scaled the Mount Everest when he was 73 years old, and then he got all the heart disease, everything, and then he scaled it for the second time when he was 83. और हम लोग क्या कहते हैं, एजिज्म, पीपल अबव 45, क्या कहते हैं, जेन एक्स को टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं समझ आती है ना. Who made the first computer? Did somebody from Gen Z did time travel, came back, made the computer and went back? Anyways, see, alarm bhi baj gaya. So, what does this little fun exercise tell us? It's not about GK. Good one. You know, it's really, you know, when I bring it back to diversity, equity and inclusion, we always at Marching Sheep say that inclusion starts with awareness. If I am not aware what a particular set of people can be capable of, I will keep on stereotyping them. And that is why knowing these facts makes for great sensitization in organization. All right? Now comes the most important question, which I am sure all of you know. What is that one KRA that every CEO has this year? ये तो पता ही होगा, अभी PMS किया है सबने, परफॉर्मेंस अप्रेजल्स खत्म किए हैं. हाँ, diversity, I think Charu spoke about it. That's a leading indicator. But achieve क्या करना है? हाँ जी, नो नो परसेंटेज. हाँ, ये तो सारे HR के, CHRO के KRAs हैं. CEO के क्या KRAs हैं? प्रॉफिट, सिर्फ प्रॉफिट. हाँ, ये कौन बोला? थैंक यू. नाउ व्हाट इज दैट अ पार्ट ऑफ? ESG. Now ESG में environment everybody is focusing on, carbon footprint, waste management, right? G में we are doing all the reporting, all the processes. We will put SAP also, SAP also, we will put governance also. जितने सॉफ्टवेयर खरीद सकते हैं वो खरीद लेते हैं. Correct? What is S? ESG together equal to sustainability. S is social impact. S has two components, the external and the internal. The external from community engagement, CSR, customer relations, supplier relations, stakeholder engagement. The internal is where all of us come in. How many of us realize that everything that we do with people, engagement, inclusion, psychological safety, fairness, transparency, communication, everything impacts the social part of ESG, and it is low hanging fruit. And that is why when we talk about DEI, there has been a movement in the world of DEI. DEI has very rapidly moved to I and D, IED. They say that it is no longer about just having representation. You first create an inclusive environment. You first create equitable opportunities, diversity will happen on its own. And what happens when D, E and I exist together? What happens? How would I feel if whoever I am, irrespective of my gender, my age, my marital status, my ethnicity, my socio-economic strata, I come to office every day, I come in with a smile, everybody greets me, everybody welcomes me, my contributions are welcomed, I am sent for training programs, my career path is charted out. What would it make me feel? Who said belonging? Bingo. Belonging. Today, today's workforce, and I said it in my panel discussion as well, today's workforce wants belonging. If we can drive a sense of belonging in our workforce, the profitability, the productivity in our organization will move through the roof. This is what we need to drive. Everything else will fall in place. I'm going to show you a small video clip. Sir, video clip आपको चलाना पड़ेगा.
So this life has given everyone a present, beautiful, shiny and new. Everyone but you. Golden ribbons, diamonds line everyone's path that leads to wide open doors. Everyone's but yours. Wide open doors. Hold on, keep on, even when the road seems very long. Open your eyes, even if it's cold now. There's one thing you should know. Rain will turn into snow.
All right. So what do you think the hedgehog feels right now? Sense of belonging. He's found home, isn't it? And that is how all of us want to feel. But do we feel like that in our workplaces? Monday morning blues नहीं होते ना फिर, अगर वैसी फीलिंग होती तो. So, sir, you are right. You know, बॉस से पूछना पड़ेगा, इसीलिए मैंने बोला बॉस की ट्रेनिंग करानी चाहिए. वो पैनल डिस्कशन में बोला था, है ना? So, अभी इसको आगे कैसे बढ़ाना है? So, सबसे पहले we need to understand that one size does not fit all. Here, every organization is different. When we broke for lunch, many people came and spoke to me, and they spoke to me how they were at different stages, how, you know, different industries, the number of employees was different, different levels of maturity. where does it lie in terms of level of maturity, and within each organization, what is the acceptance level of employees? सुनने को तैयार भी हैं कि नहीं, एक्सेप्ट करने को तैयार भी हैं कि नहीं, लीडरशिप तैयार है, एचआर तैयार है, बट एम्प्लॉयज में कितनी रेडीनेस है, एपेटाइट क्या है, कैपेसिटी क्या है. The first thing is to understand this and then decide on our DEI strategy, right? So I want to here share a case study with you, because see, ज्ञान तो बहुत easy है, but nothing like a live case study with real numbers. So this is a client which was in the FMCG industry, an MNC with presence across the globe, but we were looking at the APAC region. It was into B2B and B2C sales. Their problem statement was the leaky bucket in women workforce. So they were hiring women, but they were also losing women at the same rate or a higher rate. They were not able to retain them or grow them. There was an articulated commitment to DEI. Leadership wanted diversity and inclusion, but it was not getting percolated across the organization. There were ERGs, but they were not functioning. They were becoming like kitty parties or venting rooms. Okay? Goal बोला था ना घंटी बंद हो जाना. 25 कोई बात नहीं. Goal statement: strengthening the I&D strategy of the organization for India and curating an implementation plan. के आगे करना क्या है? Because you know, when somebody comes and says कि do it this way, it might work or it might not work. We need to get to the depth of the root of the problem. Where is the problem coming from? So a diagnostic is very important. So we have our own proprietary inclusion index, we have our own proprietary diagnostic tools, questionnaires that we implement to arrive at the root of the problem. Then they said that we need to reduce the female attrition from X to Y, because that was the issue. Representation will happen if we can reduce the attrition and then increase the PWD and LGBTQ workforce from P to Q%. So this is the structure that we follow. Metrics that matter, okay? It is very important to have the right things to track. Number, what is the end number? 25%, 20%, that is the end goal. That is the lagging indicator. What are the leading indicators? How effective are your processes and how are you monitoring their effectiveness? Right? So first we identify that, then we get into how do we work on them, making them better, and then we monitor and course correct. So this was broadly on the left, were broadly the areas that we looked at while defining the metrics. We further broke it down saying, if we have to really get our numbers up, if we really need to get the results that we desire, then all of these need to get tracked. And that is where technology helped a lot. Who is going to get numbers every month? Right? So putting in the right tools which help us data real time, so that analytics can be done, trends can be tracked. Then once we had the baseline numbers, then we spoke to the leadership. We do something known as an inclusion engineering workshop, wherein we decide with the leadership, because sometimes leadership also has mental blocks saying ऐसे ही करना है या ये नहीं चलेगा. So we need to get their buy-in. After we did this, we started rolling out how, you know, from policies to pay parity, enabling women, managerial sensitization, multiple approaches. I mean, it cannot be sporadic. It cannot be I will do a session once in a quarter. It will not be I will do a session only for corporate office. It cannot be that I will not touch manufacturing, I will not touch sales. It has to be an organization-wide intervention. So there were multiple 360-degree approaches which were rolled out. And then we tracked. So this was the mechanism that we had our KPIs in place, we did pulse surveys, and we had an annual report. I'll not get into this because otherwise Naveen will ring the bell again. At the end of 14 months, we had reduced the attrition by 5 percentage points across the region. We had increased the representation of women by 10% in leadership positions. There was an enhanced reputation as an employer of choice in the countries where they were targeting. The pulse survey response, the metrics that we were looking at, there was a consistent quarter-on-quarter improvement. And the ERGs started getting more operational because we put a structure to it, we gave them teeth. And that brings me to the end. Any questions on any specific part of the strategy or the action plan? Yes, ma'am.
It's actually very insightful. We have done some of the DEI programs specifically for the clients in the US.
Yeah.
My question was only when you were putting this program in place. So my job was to actually train recruiters to do DEI hiring.
Yeah.
So while I was training them on finding sororities.
I don't think it's working.
Is it
Yeah.
better now?
Yeah.
So my question is, ma'am, when we apply DEI at a workplace, when we say we have to increase the number of women from X to Y, and that's my goal for this quarter, are we also putting eligible candidates at risk by only focusing on, hiring women?
Yes. And that is why we always say that having a recruitment heavy strategy is not the most appropriate strategy. Because A, it coins the word diversity candidate. B, once the woman joins, many times there is a pushback from colleagues saying, अरे तुम तो diversity candidate हो,
Right,
तुमको
right,
ये नौकरी
exactly.
मिलती थी, अगर कोई और भी अच्छा होता तो उसको नहीं मिलती.
Exactly.
So I think that is why there is a transition happening from DEI to IND. You first work on mindsets. If you have to create hiring capacity, saying that hire without biases, you need to work on the hiring capability of hiring managers. What are the biases that creep in? Right, so just to give you one example, one big issue that many organizations might be facing is that when a woman goes on maternity leave, 6 months maternity leave hoti hai, then they take another unki jo bhi accumulated leave hoti hai, then maybe leave without pay, to 1 saal to chala gaya. Now, if an organization does not allow, particularly in sales or in manufacturing, they do not allow temp replacement for that duration, then it becomes very difficult for managers to go for female talent. So how will you enable managers? That is something I think, and that is why when we look at policies and practices, we look at the concept of design thinking and universal design. We've got to take these stakeholders into consideration.
Right.
It cannot be a top down saying कि global CEO और CHRO ने बोल दिया, फिर India के CHRO ने बोल दिया, तो अब ये करना है. Then you will never get buy-in.
Right. And ma'am, typically, how do you also measure it? Now, for an example, when we have a job posting or maybe a job application, and I know you mentioned that you have some framework as well that your organization is providing, but my question is, let's say, when a lot of companies in the US hire, they typically have these questions where they ask whether you would require sponsorship, whether you're a woman or veteran and stuff like that, right? So that gives them a metric actually to count their numbers, but
Yeah.
in India we don't have anything. So does that where your framework comes into picture?
So we have an inclusion index, right, which is a very simple number and qualitative index which you can apply quarter on quarter,
Okay.
which will show you, and it is anonymous. So even if somebody does not want to declare their name, but at least you get the numbers.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
Right?
ma'am. That
All
is very
right.
insightful.
Thank you.